it's Kelly Ann, and welcome to a very special floss tube. This is going to be all about the Mysterious Adventure Project from Ink Circles, or Map Cell, as some of you may already know. It is still available to purchase at inkcircles.com. It's going to be really fun. It's I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's going to be a choose your own adventure map, like a fantasy map of a fantastical world that you create yourself with the help of flow charts, rolling dice. I'm personally going to take polls on Instagram asking you guys to help me pick some of my choices, as well as asking Siri to roll certain sided dice and picking numbers between 1 and whatever, instead of purchasing a dice set for myself personally. There are 8 locus, or a collective loci. And the very first one is Locus 0, and that is picking out your fabrics and your threads, as well as getting your dice and anything else that you need for the rest of the challenge. And that you receive as soon as you purchase the Sal. The Locus number 1 is about the borders, and it comes out on June 24th. Our fabric is supposed to hold a chart the size of 200 by 300 stitches, and that's because your map could possibly be that big, or it could be much smaller. It depends on the flow charts and the roll of the dice and the options that you pick. Locus number 2 is your coastlines. So it establishes all the land, sea, and rivers in your map, and that comes out on July 22nd. Locus number 3 is the title block. So it says, be thinking of what you want to name your mysterious land or fantastical land, whatever. And that comes out on August 19th. Locus 4 is the compass rose, which I'm really excited about, and it comes out on September 16th. And then on September 30th, Locus number 5 comes out, and this is all about gridding for features. So it says land and sea will be divided into cells of a few different sizes, small, medium, and large. And there will also, these will be where we plop down things like castles and ships and forests. And I've seen things like sea monsters, and I'm real excited, okay? October 21st is Locus number 6. And this is the wet packet. So this is the collection of motifs that go into the different water cells. And then the final Locus number 7 is the dry packet, which are the collection of motifs that will go on the land cells, and that comes out November 18th. So you will see this intro at the beginning of all of these videos, and I'm just so excited for this series. Basically, how I'm going to record these is around the time that the next locus or one of the loci comes out, I will release the video for the previous locus and show my progress thus far. So about every month you'll get to see some progress. So I think that's about how I'm going to do it. So let's just jump on into this locus's progress. Enjoy. Hey guys, we're back with Locus number 2. This is all about your separating like your land and your water, where your rivers and all that kind of stuff is. So this is, I forget what it's called. Anyways, so let me just recap on where my piece is left off. I did not finish the entire border. So I'm going to be using Excel to chart this out. So this is how far I got. Yeah. So this is, wait. No, yeah, that's right. Blah. Okay, so this was quadrant 3. So quadrant 3, okay? All right, so I have to start in this quadrant and start developing like my land and water and all that kind of stuff, whichever direction it may go. I've seen several people start theirs and charting theirs and stuff like that, so I don't know how hard or easy this is going to be. This one seems like the one that's really going to confuse me, which I was also confused about some other ones, so who the heck knows? But these are for like your rivers and like what your land and water is, and then doing like any like rivers or like lakes or streams. Okay, so let's just go through this. This says, read everything first, don't fear the flow chart. Yikes, it says, picture that you're a little person walking along the coastline. You do not have a map. You're charting it out as you walk. So that's basically how maps were originally created. Big land masses were floated around in boats, and then they got on the land and started tracking it. So that's basically how maps were made back in like Lewis and Clark days. So that's what we're doing. So, okay, so definitions in the locus: extents, which is the edge of the map part, not counting the borders. Do not stitch coastlines into the border section. So, okay, so since I don't have much of my border finished, so this is the bottom right corner for me. Since I don't have, I know how tall I want it to be, but I'm not gonna sit there and count that. So, I'm gonna be like mapping this on my laptop in Excel, and so that way I can like use that to stitch and go. Really need to zoom out. One thing that I'm not as familiar with, that's not what I want. One thing that I'm less familiar with in oh, there it is. I'm less familiar where all of the buttons are in the Excel for the Mac. So trying to school myself at the same time. Okay, so progress direction is the direction you're facing. It may be northeast, south, or west at any given time. Great. Makes perfect sense. Drift direction is the coastline is not perfectly straight. It wavers or drifts towards your left or right hand as your chartographer moves forward in the progress direction. And then coastal starting point. You rolled for this in locus number 1. So I did. I rolled the bottom right quadrant. So on my Excel spreadsheet, I've given myself a lot of room. So I'm just gonna kind of like chart up. I started the bottom or the edge of my border on row 149 or on 194. I know that my chart is not 194 stitches tall. I may be around like 120 or so, maybe 130, but I'm just gonna keep going up, and then I'm gonna kind of probably finish the super inner border whenever I start actually stitching what I chart up, and then I'll know where to like stop. So I'll probably end up charting a little bit more than what I'm actually gonna stitch, which is fine with me. Okay, basic concept called a random walk and draws where the land, ocean, and river boundaries are. Stitch this line with the dark watercolor. Simply said, your little chartographer will start at the border and walk forward, wavering a little to the left or right, leaving a trail of stitches behind you. That's so cute to think about. Okay. The flow chart that follows will guide you. Every once in a while, the double ones Every once in a while, the double ones, he'll make a left turn or a right turn. This continues until he runs into the border again. You could do this all on graph paper first and stitch, but I see you stitching and rolling as you go. At this point, you do not know which side is land or water. Well, that could make it difficult. Okay, if you end up with two really uneven size pieces, or if you just feel like it, you can add a second coastline. You would pick a different starting point and repeat the process. The process is written so you don't veer suddenly if you are next to your border, and so you don't run into your previous work, but you have full artistic license to do whatever you think would look good in your piece. I kind of have like a vision for what I kind of want it to look like, and like to a degree, like I would love to have like a little island. So I mean, I know some people are literally just like winging it. They're just like kind of doing things. Okay, you will need the following: a D4, so a 4-sided die or equivalent, which controls how big the steps forward your little person takes, a coin to dictate whether they go left or right. Note that heads up means different things in different parts of the flowchart, so read it carefully. Oh my Lanta. And a D8, an 8-sided die or equivalent. When combined with the D4, rolling double ones marks a turn in your coastline. If your coastline is coming out too boring for your taste, you can swap this out for a D6 or consider its 2s as if they were 1s. Do not be intimidated by the flowchart. Flowchart does kind of seem intimidating, I'm not gonna lie, because put it adjacent immediately to your last. So literally the next one over. Okay, so this flow chart is all about like how many you rolled, and so I'm not going to go through the entire flow chart because that's literally what is, you should buy the pattern. But I will probably record myself for a little bit going through the flow chart, but it'll probably be on speed, like on a speed up type thing, so that way I'm gonna watch TV while I do this because it's gonna take a little while. Okay, so you do that. This helps you find the coastline. So this helps you define like land and water. And then the next part is rivers. And so it says, find the pointiest part of your coastline. The direction it points is where your river will go. And we are going to just make a mini version of a coastline without inflection points. So no turns unless you really want to. It stops whenever it looks long enough to you. And so obviously the river falls on land side of coastline, so feel free to add another river or two in varying lengths in your land area. You can now see the layout of your country and surrounding waters. Then it says the river delta, add a few dark blue extra stitches to place the river where intersects the coastline to make a small triangle. I get what that means. And then outlining. So once you have all that in, you go in with a row of stitches of lighter blue on the water side, and then you start doing the browns on the inner side, so that way you know. So there's like, then there's a brown and then a lighter brown. So, and if there are sharp corners, fill them in with blue or brown to make a softer corner. You can outline as much of the river section as you feel is good. There are no right or wrong answers to any of this. Stitch until it looks good. The coastlines are what make your land completely unique. Option 4, add a little lake to one end of a river. There will be a chart for a larger lake if you want to wait. So you can add like a cute little lake And there's a little tiny chart for a little tiny lake, but I mean, you could just you could make it a little bit bigger if you really wanted to. Okay, so I'm gonna get to making my coastlines while I watch Mindhunter, because that's what we like to do. All right, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. So you're gonna see a little bit of that on fast forward, and then I'll maybe like show my final outline on my Excel document. Like I'll take a screen grab or just literally hold up my laptop, not really sure. And then that's what I'm gonna stitch on today as I'm doing chores and binge watching season 2 of Mindhunter. And we'll see how far we get. I'm really excited though, because I am a little bit behind in my parts, but part 3 and 4, or loci 3 and 4, are like your name and your compass rose and things like that. So they're smaller parts. So I think I'll be able to get caught up before we get to the land pack and the sea pack, which I'm really excited about. So let's get to chartographing. Okay, the base of my outline is complete. All right, so this is kind of what I've graphed, for my map. So I did configure a little tiny island in there, and I think it looks really cute. So see, it's kind of like open-ended because I don't know exactly where my border is gonna hit, but I'm excited. Okay, so with that being said, it is now time for rivers. And I think I might do 2 rivers. So I have 2 points that I'm kind of like looking at. I'm tempted, so I'll show you on here. Oh, so saturated. Okay, so I'm thinking about maybe doing like a small one coming up this way, like a little bit, and then maybe doing like a little lake over here, and then doing like one trailing from one of these points. So that's what I'm about to do, because it said pick like pointier areas. So that's what I'm gonna do. And you basically just make them as big as you want to make them. So that's what I'm gonna work on right now. I think I'm gonna start from this one. I'm also gonna change the color on my Excel spreadsheet to be a little bit lighter, so that way I know that these are rivers, even though they will be stitched in the correct like color, if that makes sense. It just allows for me to, I don't know what the main outline is and which one is a river. So I'm gonna get to making my rivers and I will check back in with y'all in a minute. Okay, so here is my projected map. I'm so excited. I know this is like a really crappy way to show you, but so I have a little island. This is my land. I have a little river right here with two little sprigs and then one coming up here to a little lake. So this is all land. So all of this is land and then this will all be water. I'm super excited. So I'm gonna get to stitching and working on this, and yeah, I'm really excited. So we'll see how much of it actually lands on the map, because I'm just kind of like predicting how big it's gonna be, and so we'll see. Some of my lake may get cut off in the border, or I don't know. So we will see what happens, and yeah, I'm excited. I hope y'all are too, to see it. I'm excited to see it. So I think what I'm gonna do is first I'm gonna take some black for the super inside border, and I'm gonna just like make some, maybe even just like half crosses to about the size that I want to go. And I say about the size because I still need to do like the calculations for like the border and stuff. So I want to get close to the next corner so that way I know about how long I want to make my map. And then because I did an Excel spreadsheet, it's just like I gridded it. So we're gonna go from there. So anyways, I will check back in with y'all in a little while. Bye guys. Okay, so I've been working on this all day, and my map is gonna be not as the same proportions as were called for, which was 200 by 300. But I'm gonna be somewhere around like 135, 160, 165-ish, which I'm okay with. That's gonna be a little bit more square, but I'm cool with it. So I got everything mapped out earlier. I have a little lake, I have two rivers, one with a little sprig, and then obviously one with a lake. I have a little island, and I'm going to end up going about 15 to 20 stitches past my island, so that way I can put my compass rose in the bottom left-hand corner, which is kind of like a more traditional map style. So are you ready? Okay, so I got everything stitched for the dark blue line, except I need to add a little bit of the delta for one of the rivers, but I'm gonna do that whenever I get to it. But I started filling in the land color and the lighter blue for part of it, and I'm currently working on the island so I can kind of leave it alone. But this is where I'm at. How fun. So I'm gonna come to about like out here, so that way the compass rose can be down here. But the next part comes out today, and it's for the name. So I'm trying to think of some cool names, but all of this is going to be my land, and then all of this area will be my sea, and then I have a cute little island. So I think I have a pretty, I don't know, I might not have the most even like land to sea ratio. Who knows? I might add like a little bit more up here once I actually figure out how wide I'm gonna make it. But I really like it. Like I said, it is gonna be a little bit more square, but I'm okay with that, to be quite honest. I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited though. So here's how my colors are coming together for the land and the sea. And I really, really like it. So there's my little river delta for that. And there's my little island. So, yeah, right now I'm working on the island, and then I'll work on like this area of filling in the other colors, and then I'll be moving as I go. But got to pick out a name for my fantical land. So I've got to pick out a name. That is the next locus, and I'm gonna place it about center. So it's gonna go about like here-ish. The name will. So that's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be to the right of the island. But yeah, I'm really excited. So there's the name and the compass. I'm trying to remember. There's the name, the compass, and then there's a gridding locus where you grid like large areas, medium areas, small areas to prepare for the land and sea pack. I don't know if I'm gonna do the gridding, but over the leading up from now until the land and sea packs, I'm gonna be finishing up the like border and the outlines of the land and sea and stuff like that as I go. So in the next like 3 videos, you're not only gonna see the progress of whatever that locus is about, but you're also gonna see the progress of the map itself. So anyways, that's where this one is going to be left. I'm really enjoying this. It's a lot of fun. It's a way to be super creative. I encourage anybody to get the pattern and make your own map for your own fantical little air like land and area. It's just really neat. It's a way to be super creative and be spontaneous, and you can let the dice decide everything, or you can kind of sway the dice to do a few things like I did just a little bit. And I don't know, I'm really super in love with it, and like I said, I'm happy with the size that I'm kind of ending up with. And yeah, I encourage everyone to get this pattern, to join in. It's not too late. It goes through November. You definitely have time to catch up, or do it after it's over, but it seems confusing and complicated till you really like get in it, and it's fun. It's just so much fun. But anyways, I will see y'all in the next locust video. Bye guys.